Joining me now is Sky News contributor Louise Roberts and the Daily Express Royal reporter Pandora Forsyth. Pandora, so much to unpack here, plenty of parallels that are just a little too difficult to ignore.
Yeah, so much to unpack here. And you're right, Caroline. I mean, when you first started off and you said that the Brits, essentially, this is the publicly chosen royal family, the Beckhams. We've known Brooklyn since he was growing up, since he was a little baby, when Victoria was in the Spice Girls, David was at the top of his game playing for England. I mean, really, when there is a story about them, they are the front page of every newspaper here. So to give that a bit of context. And then, of course, David is now a patron with the King in a couple of his different ventures. Victoria is regularly seen and being invited to Buckingham Palace for various different ventures that the Queen is doing, one being about domestic violence. So there is plenty going on and ties in between the royals. Would the royals want to know that when they're mixing with them, that Harry and Meghan in Montecito are actually having conversations with Brooklyn when they are the front pages? I'm not sure the Royal Press Office would like that very much. Can they help that? No. Of course, as you said, it's nice that Brooklyn perhaps has a shoulder to cry on. Exactly that. However, what I would say here is Harry and Meghan are treading into dangerous territory because they don't want to seem like they're getting in the way of royal day-to-day business. Now, in the grand scheme of things, there are plenty of other things to be talking about, but the reason why this has hit the papers so much is that parallels, as you said. Obviously, Harry has had very public rifts with the royal family. It was only a couple of weeks ago where he did that tell-all interview, which we did speak about. And then this has happened now off the back of it. Sources are saying that this is a complete coincidence, but is it that much of a coincidence? I mean, I'll let the viewers kind of have their say on that one. But the public opinion here is completely split. And it's really important that Harry and Meghan do have a line here and they don't cross it.
Yeah, I think that's a very fair observation. And Louise, how is something like this managed going forward? Because it feels like this is the second genie that is just going to be impossible to put back in the bottle.
Well, you're right, Caro, and I do really feel for David and Victoria Beckham here because I guess the last people they'd want their son to get advice from is former friends, Harry and Meghan, of course, and that was a very acrimonious breakup of that friendship, as you've referenced already. And I have to wonder, though, why didn't Brooklyn go to William? Because clearly he's been very close to both brothers over the years, and William would give him very sage, strategic advice. William's very close to his mum and dad and probably discreetly would say, you know, this is not what to do, this is what Harry's done, this is what the impact has had on our family, all very discreet, all very confidential, and he could have got some proper advice on how to fix up this mess with his family. Instead, they've gone to the other side of the family who of course have no idea how to fix the mess they've created and have made it all about themselves. And I do feel that in a way that Brooklyn and his wife have sort of gone to Montecito to sort of send a message to his parents, which is very unfortunate. And I just wish, in a way, like Harry, he would grow up and just mend that bridge with his family, because family's everything.
And those things are always better dealt with privately with the people who really matter, rather than those sorts of, public point scoring being made for all to see. I think it's a little bit untidy. But Pandora, speaking of Harry, a YouGov poll this week shows that Harry's popularity has sunk following his BBC interview. Hardly surprising.
Yeah, this has all spectacularly backfired on him, hasn't it? I don't know who told him to give the all-tell interview advice. He's wrote a book, really. I mean, he's had the public opinion. He had a best-selling book. They were on his side. People wanted to hear about his story, but people are tired of hearing about Harry moaning in the grand scheme of things when there are so many bigger stories happening in the world right now. People are struggling to pay their bills in the UK, and you've got a multimillionaire royal who's had everything given to him his whole entire life, and now he has had a little bit of taken it away. Now he's complaining about it on our biggest broadcaster in the UK, our publicly funded broadcaster. I just don't know even where to begin with this, but it's not a surprise that this has backfired spectacularly in a poll. Will he hear about the poll? I'm told that the PR team with Harry and Meghan do hold back some bits of press. So, and we know his opinion on press. So whether he's actually going to listen to this poll or not, I've got no idea. But I think perhaps it's time for him to actually start realising that there are better and bigger stories going on in the world right now, which aren't revolving around Prince Harry's security when he does come to the UK. And on that note, he still does get security. He just needs to put in a 28-day to 30-day notice and give reason, and then they will give him some sort of security. But he's saying obviously that holds him back from bringing his wife and his children to the UK as well, which I can completely understand and do get that. But that's why it has gone through all the legal processes it has done. I guess now it's on the government to intervene if needed. We know that he's written a letter to Yvette Cooper, the Home Secretary in the UK, so we're just going to have to wait, and maybe that will swing the polls again. But right now, it's not looking good for Harry, for the UK public opinion.
Now, on to Princess Catherine, and, there's been this continued commentary by her around nature. Here's the latest.
Over the past year, nature has been my sanctuary. The natural world's capacity to inspire us, to nurture us, and help us heal and grow is boundless. Spring is here, so let's make the most of it together.
Pandora, she does this very well. Is this part of a broader outlook for the princess, or can we expect something bigger soon from her in this particular area?
Yeah, she does it so well. I mean, this is a topic that she's been speaking about many times. Whenever she has a chance to bring it back to nature, she always will. And actually, you know what? There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. At least, she's being genuine. She obviously has a deep passion for it. She loves getting outside, and of course she loves spending time with her children outside. Whenever they've got an opportunity to go out in nature, then they always will. Whether that's be playing sport within nature, whether that's gardening, whatever it is, there'll always be a chance. And of course, she's patron to many societies which have got that link to nature as well, like Girl Guides, etc. So I expect we'll be seeing a lot more of this, yes. And we do know, of course, when she was going through her health battles, she spent a lot of time in nature to kind of reconnect to herself. And there's nothing like, I know it sounds very, very British, but getting outside and just going for a big walk and just clearing your head. I mean, it's so simple, but it's so effective. So yes, I mean, it's quite light and fluffy. I mean, that was very much the reaction in the newsroom this week when this video came out. But of course, that's, it's not always supposed to be about drama with the royal family. And now, that's actually what it's supposed to be about, is sending out these messages. So whether it will stick, whether people get outside more, I don't know. Let's hope it doesn't rain, and then the good weather will stay in London and people will get out more. But it is the UK, and we unfortunately don't have lovely weather like you guys over there.
Well, we do have lovely weather. It's the middle of May here in Perth, and we still got 25 degrees, and I'm a proponent for a walk whenever I can. Thank you so much, Pandora Forsyth and Louise Roberts.